Let's move on to the other part, that is the esophagus. Well, esophagus is also known as the food pipe. It is a muscular organ, you can say a tubular organ, a tube-like organ which is 25 centimeter long, and it lies behind the trachea and the heart, right. So, esophagus, which we also call as food pipe, it is a tubular muscular organ, right. It is 25 centimeter long, which lies behind the trachea and the heart. Now, esophagus has three parts. First is the cervical part, the thoracic part and the abdominal part, right. So, what is this esophagus? It is actually what? A muscular tube which is actually connecting the mouth to the stomach, right. Now, there is the movement of the muscles in the esophagus, right. That movement is known as peristalsis. Due to this peristalsis movement, that is a contraction and relaxation of the muscles. What is peristalsis? It is a contraction and relaxation of the muscles due to which food is pushed to the stomach. That is peristalsis. So, this is only the function of esophagus, that is transfer of food from pharynx to the stomach. No digestion takes place in the esophagus, it just passes or transfers food from the pharynx to the stomach. So, let us see the three parts, right. So, anatomically it is divided into three parts, that is the cervical part, the thoracic part and the abdominal part, right. So, here we have sphincters, right, just the spelling I will just write for you, we have sphincters. Now, in case of esophagus, we have the upper esophageal sphincter and the lower esophageal sphincter. What happens? What is a sphincter? It is actually a part of the circular muscles. The type of muscles are what? We have circular muscles. So, this is actually a circular muscle which actually remains constricted, okay. But during the physiological functioning of the body, they can actually lead to some functioning. So, the sphincters are just the part of your circular muscles. So, I was telling you that the esophagus, it actually has the esophageal sphincter. Now, this esophageal sphincter is the upper esophageal sphincter and the lower esophageal sphincter. This lower esophageal sphincter, right, it takes or it joins the esophagus to the stomach. It is also known as the gastroesophageal sphincter. Gastroesophageal sphincter, okay. You also call this gastroesophageal sphincter as the cardiac sphincter. You can also call it as the cardiac sphincter, right. So, we have a gastroesophageal sphincter, that is just the opening of the stomach, where the stomach region starts, right. And this gastroesophageal sphincter is also known as what? It is known as the cardiac sphincter. So, this is how there are three parts. Just remember, the cervical part is in the neck, the thoracic part in the thorax and the abdominal part in the abdomen. Okay. So, there are three parts of the esophagus, the cervical part in the neck, the thoracic part in the thorax and the abdominal part in the abdomen. So, this is how anatomically the esophagus is divided into these three parts. Next, you can see here that the folded inner walls are there. When you look at the histology, right, we have some folded inner walls, and this is a muscle layer and these are the folded inner walls. So, in esophagus, food takes 2 to 3 seconds to travel down this tube. So, it takes only 2 to 3 seconds to travel down this tube, and inside this tube we have what? We have folded inner wall, right, and a muscle layer, right. And I told you that we have what? A lower esophageal sphincter. This ring of muscle relaxes to let food into the stomach and tightens to prevent regurgitation. Now, what happens? The digested food, so that digested food in the stomach does not goes out from this esophagus. Because of this, we have this esophageal sphincter, which we also call as the gastroesophageal sphincter or the cardiac sphincter. right? So it prevents regurgitation of the digested food, means if the food that is digested in the stomach, it does not goes back because of this sphincter, that is the lower esophageal sphincter, or you can say the gastroesophageal sphincter or the cardiac sphincter, right? Then remember that this esophagus region does not help in digestion, it just transfers food from pharynx to the stomach. And how does it transfer food? It transfers food by special movement that we call as peristalsis. What we call those special movements as? We call it as peristalsis. What happens during peristalsis? We have bolus. Now what is bolus? When you actually eat food in your mouth, the food is mixed with saliva, and this mass of food is formed, which we call as bolus. So bolus is actually the mass of food which is actually mixed with saliva, right? So this bolus is there. Now what happens? We have circular muscles that firstly contract. The circular muscles, we have two types of muscles that we are going to talk in terms of peristalsis. We will talk about the circular muscles, and then we will talk about the longitudinal muscles. Circular muscles and the longitudinal muscles of the esophageal wall. Circular muscles and the longitudinal muscles of the esophageal wall. So what happens? Firstly, the circular muscles, they are going to contract, and after their contraction, the longitudinal muscles, they are going to contract, and their contraction is going to shorten the esophagus, which is going to push the walls of the esophagus outward. Now when the walls are going to be pushed outward, this is going to lead to the push of this bolus, right? And at this stage, the relaxation of circular muscles is there, and these waves of these movements, they continue, which we call as peristalsis, right? So the contraction of smooth muscles behind bolus forces it forward, and waves of muscle contractions move bolus towards the stomach. So because of this peristalsis or the peristaltic movements, that is contraction and relaxation of the muscles of the esophagus, the food is pushed downward to the stomach. Well, let me just recall you again that we are talking about the smooth muscles, we are talking about the circular muscles and the longitudinal muscles. When the food is in the form of bolus entering into the esophagus, firstly the circular muscles, they are going to contract. With their contraction, the longitudinal muscles, after the contraction of circular muscle, longitudinal muscle is going to contract. When the longitudinal muscles are going to contract, this is going to what? This is going to push the walls of the esophagus outward, because they are going to contract. When this is going to contract, this is going to lead to what? This is going to lead to the shortening of the esophagus, and after this the walls of the esophagus are going to be pushed outward. When they are going to be pushed outward, this is leading to what? This is leading to the bolus or the mass of the food going downward. So many such waves of contraction and relaxation are there. So firstly circular muscles contract, then the longitudinal muscles contract, leading to the relaxation of the circular muscles. So this is how contraction of circular muscles, then contraction of longitudinal muscles, then relaxation of circular muscles, right? This goes on and on, leading to what? Peristalsis, the movements of contraction and relaxation of the esophageal muscles, that is known as peristalsis. So this is how the bolus, that is the mass of food, actually travels to the stomach. So this is the main important function of esophagus, that is transfer food from pharynx to the stomach. I hope that this is clear to you.